MiniWarGaming Dan here from MiniWarGaming.com, here to bring you more Tactica. This time, Kommandos. Now, Kommandos are something, to be honest, I have used little of. However, I see their merit in a lot of ways. Maybe just because I play Speed Freaks a lot, and the enemy just kind of sits on their side of the board, cowering, trying to shoot the crap out of me, because as soon as I reach them, I'm going to smash them into smithereens. And so they hug the board edges, and Kommandos can just come on and spank them. But Kommandos are actually, they're pretty cheap points cost-wise when you get them into battle. Now, there's lots of awesome conversions out there on the internet, and I want to make my own set of kind of unique as much as I can. I don't want to look too much other things. I kind of just want to just build them, have some fun with them. Tactica-wise for Kommandos, when you have them, you can bring them in squads of 5 to 15. 15 is a lot. You don't usually always want that because, I mean, 15's a semi-decent squad of boys because they're just basically boys with fun upgrades. But the boys, how do I put this? A boy squad, unless it's like in a squad of like 20, it's kind of hard to have them just as another entity out there. But at the same argument there, a squad of 12 boys is perfectly fine if you have a truck to go with them and they get into combat, you don't get shot up at all. And so a squad of 15 Burnas, it costs more, which is like, oh, sad. But you have these awesome upgrades for them. Mainly, you can choose 2 of them, 2 Kommandos, and you can either give them rockets, big shooters, or Burnas. Okay, that's 2 max. Usually what you want to do, 2 Burnas. Let's be honest. Unless you're going like against a really vehicle heavy, then maybe 2 rockets. But 2 Burnas is great. Now you can bring 2 Burnas, and then you can upgrade one to a knob, and he has all the basic stuff, so Power Claw Boss Bull. Let's be honest. He's a knob. So upgrade to a knob, Power Claw Boss Bull. Okay, so you're outflanking, you're coming in one. Okay, so they got infiltrate. Okay, so infiltrate. So those of you who have the special rule of infiltrate. You deploy everything, and then you can either hold it in reserves, and if it is in reserves, it can outflank. It can choose to or not. So if it has the outflank, 1, 2 this side, 3, 4 this side, 5, 6 you choose on the board edges. So you can come in and get those pesky, heavy weapon squads, whatever, if they're out there. First of all, it'll either make them hug the middle more, which is easier for you to converge on them. And you don't have to spread out your forces as much, which is great. And if they do go on the board edge, then hopefully you roll. I mean, it's 66% chance that you're going to come on where you want. So it's not completely reliable, but reliable enough that is a scary thing that can happen. And then so you just come in, and if you have two Burnas, like with a knob, you just template, take out most of the squad, and then charge in with a squad of boys. If something's skirting over there, they're probably going to be weaker anyway, so you'll be able to wipe them out. And that's worth it in itself. And then they have to actually focus on them because of the boy with Power Claw can do anything. It can kill anything. So if it's running around muck in the back, killing vehicles, all of a sudden, these big vehicles that you want to stand still and shoot all their weapons have to start moving, not only so they don't get auto hits on them, but so they don't actually get caught up to. And so you start running with them and everything. So that's why combi rockets can be useful, because you can, take pot shots, and they're not like one use, right? Or they're not combi rockets, they're just rockets. So you can just shoot them, throughout. But you got to ask yourself, when you're coming in, are you going to be targeting a tanks mostly, or are you going to be targeting infantry units mostly? What are you going to be targeting? What are you going after? And that's how you should judge which upgrades you should take. As for the big shooters, you're going to be in enemy lines. You want to be running around like crazy, trying to get stuck into combat with something, mostly vehicles. So big shooters, I guess they could be useful, but Big shooters, only 5, like normal, but then rockets more expensive, burn is even more expensive. So that's something to take into account as well. But basically that's really it for Kommandos. They're fantastic, but you want to try to outflank as much as possible. Now, if you don't outflank with infiltrate, you can deploy up to 18 inches away from them if you're out of line of sight. So, I guess it could be useful, but before you start deploying, you have to declare what is in reserve or not. And so it's rare, I find, the case where they deploy first, say they were going first, they deployed first, and you're like, oh, my commandos need to be right there on the board, and it's perfect, and that'd be amazing. Normally, it's not like that. You'll find the rare case, but you want to outflank them, you want them to come in on the side and cause mayhem, because although they do cost a bit more, if you take out the point cost for the truck and you give the burners a little more, that extra points, you know, you can well use to take out lots of fun stuff. So Kommandos, by all means, try them out. Good times, killing stuff. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that a special character that just scares everybody to bits, called Snickrot. Snickrot, he is. Kommandos are so weird because, like, orcs are all about, hey, you're over there, I'm over here. I'm gonna come over there, and I'm gonna kill you. Here I come. And people are just used to that. They're like, hey, orcs, they're gonna come they're scary. They're really hard to kill, and they're just careening at me as fast as possible. And so you're like, blah, and all of a sudden, this little orc is like, and slits your neck. You're like, you see your buddy fall down beside you, you're like, oh, what the? You're like, what are you doing? That's not an orc. Well, it's an orc, but, and then you die because it kills you too. But it's just so, enemies are so confused when the commandos come in that, fun times.